Right, we'll start with The Nation. FG set to gazette order classifying gunmen terrorists. El Rufai, carpet bombing of forests will end banditry. Uzodinma fails to name crime sponsors in Imo. 4 killed in failed Osun jailbreak. INEC releases timetable for Ekiti governorship poll. Ibadan kingmakers meet today over succession. Doyin Salami is Buhari's chief economic advisor. And Sanwo-Olu parties to Magodo. Dispute meets today. Okay, let's start with the major headline. Who has that story? Yeah.
So the Minister for Justice, my favorite minister, and Attorney General again, in the papers. Because it's the one I always talk about the most. Okay. Not about favorites like that. It's about, features all the time. And so this time around, he was being questioned about, terrorism and banditry. And he says that, that, yes, that the most important thing, because let me go directly. The question was on whether the Super Tucano jets that we got have been deployed for the purpose of, stopping banditry. And he said that the most important thing, because he then highlighted the process, that which, of course, is to proscribe them, and that has been done by a court, and that the court order is more important than the gazetting. That gazetting is just formality. That once the court has said that they are now terrorists, that's okay. And so they went direct and said, are you now deploying this to them? He said, hey, like I said, a court order has been obtained, proscribing them first. We did that for IPOP, we did that for Boko Haram, so that the government can then fight them and deploy state apparatus to curb their excesses. And that's what we have done now. The court has given an order, and terrorism, anybody with a gun, the pronouncement has been done, declaring bandits, cattle rustlers, kidnappers, all of them as terrorists. Okay, have they deployed? At the end of the day, says, I don't know whether or not that's been said. I cannot answer that. But the English was
political answers.
Okay, so yes, the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has said that he believes that in order for us to solve this issue of kidnapping and banditry is to carpet bomb the forests. So, in my understanding of carpet bombing, it means just bomb that place and clear it. He says the trees, we will plant them again. Yes, there may be collateral damage, but we'll plant the trees, and then what's important is to get people back into the communities. He says, really, the truth is our military is overstretched. There isn't enough of boots on the ground, and there are many security issues across the country. So maybe this is the best way to go, although he also advised for better strategic ways to handle this.
Yeah,
I get him. I understand it. Yeah. But also, it didn't make the front page, but Gumi was talking about some people who, when the military say they went in and they bomb a certain place, sometimes they affect innocent settlers in these communities because you go in and you bomb it.
Yeah, so said it, collateral damage.
But the truth is, okay,
what
do you think about that?
What I think is that why do we have this forest unused? Wait,
they're already there. So what do we do?
Let's deploy state apparatus to take over those lands. Give them to serious-minded people that will secure. Let them use it for proper farming.
Forest.
Having them, then you take off the forest. So
that's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
Don't bomb. That's what I'm saying. Don't burn it over.
Have you driven past any of these forests in recent times? Have you driven past some serious forests?
Even normal bush.
I've not been bush. My husband traveled to when I go back, and he did a video along a stretch that would be a forest in Nigeria and abandoned. And it was an entire farm, an entire town, all the way.
Yes.
We can take over like that, secure that place and make it productive.
All right, let's
make it a Ekiti State will be having their elections on June 18th of 2022. This is in accordance with the law that they must give a 90-day notice. Now, starting from the 4th of January to 29th of January, parties must now conduct their individual primaries and pick their candidates. The reason we're taking this story because we know there are people that are watching from Ekiti State, but more importantly is to appeal that from the internal party process down to the election day on the 18th, we don't want any blood spillage. My mom is from Ekiti, my husband is from Ekiti, my husband is from Ekiti, and we have family members in Ekiti, and there is nothing political that should be worth the life of any Ekiti citizen.
Very true.
So we can do this peacefully.
Yes.
All right, so 4 inmates were gunned down on Tuesday to try to escape from the correctional center in Ile-Ife.
Wow.
So after 9 a.m. Devotion, they looked at the entrance and said, okay, these people are not there.
They have monitored the time.
They're monitoring the entrance. They started walking towards it, spoke to the guards there, thinking that, you know, they can get away. So they started running away. And because the police mistakenly shot them, gunned them down immediately.
You say mistakenly?
Not mistakenly.
Okay. Deliberately?
Deliberately gunned
them. But mistakenly killed them.
Yes.
Probably. I think that at the end of the day, it's to serve as a deterrent so that nobody gets any ideas going forward.
Moving on to the punch.
Next time we can taste them. Can we taste them next time?
Do we have teasers?
Auntie.
We don't have teasers. So.
We don't have battery set for the teasers.
Oh, please.
The punch. AMCON lists 7,912 names owing 4.4 trillion naira as deadline expires today. Picture of our Governor Magodo protest Sanwo-Olu police team leader exchange words. Governor plans meeting. Magodo has become very, very popular recently.
As
in news. Lagos made 14 flees with boss's 2-year-old daughter arrested in Ogun. Dana plane speeding car in near collision on Lagos Airport taxiway. Oyo awaits ex-AG's petition on Olubadan. Government pledges smooth transition. Presidency Tinubu group's boast of national spread, says ex-governor ahead of others. Automatically in 30 years' time, youth will carry government's mounting debt burden, says Owonikoko. And Muslim ticket unacceptable, says Khan. Ohaneze to lobby North Southwest for all Igbo presidential race. Okay, story, we take it.
The major headline. So AMCON has the deadline for the publication of about 7,912 names that are owing this nation in several capacities by borrowing from companies, private and government entities will be published. So I'm hoping that by tomorrow morning, the major headline will be their names. Because according to AMCON, the National Assembly had given them an ultimatum that expires today to publish the names of these people, and that 1 month has expired. So they are going to name them, and we're looking forward to that.
Okay. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, continue with the punch. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still in Punch. Let's take another story. I was going to take the story of the human interest story of this young 14-year-old girl that went away with her boss's 2-year-old son from Sunday school, because the Sunday school teacher knew her and allowed her to take the child. She left the child and she traveled all the way. I think she was found in Ogun. Actually, a woman saw her begging for alms and saw that the child was very, very sick and ill. She took both of them in, helped to rehabilitate the little child to be well. Once the boy was okay, the girl said she wants to go back to Imo State. So that's when she now got suspicious. I hear that you said that your parents died in a ghastly car accident and only two of you survived. That is your little brother. You know that. Who are you going to go and meet in Imo State? So she now got a bit suspicious. That's why she now went, alerted the police. And was them they realized that this girl abducted this little boy, was taking her en route to Imo State. They didn't tell us exactly what she had planned to do to the child, and to sell him, we don't know. But they found the child, and I'm not sure if they have reconnected the child to his parents. I'm not sure yet, but the police is still on top of this.
There are many things wrong with it. That's a 14-year-old girl. Yeah. A 14-year-old girl has no business
being a nanny in the first place.
A 14-year-old girl has no business. We need to stop this. It's a crime.
I agree. Totally. Yes. So Dana plane. Thankfully, we averted a mishap, as it's been reported here on the 21st of December. It says that the plane was taxiing, to take off, and a car just drove right in front of it, and the pilot had to, use his brakes. He was so upset, of course, called the control room, and it happened to be the car belonged to the customs office, and their staff was driving it. Obviously, it seemed like that man didn't have any training concerning how to move around in that area. And so the management of the airport and FAN has said that they have worked on, they have updated and upgraded security around the runway. But this is not the first time that it's happened. We remember there was one Max Air as well. A car broke down just, on the runway as well. And second, there's another one that happened December 27. A person mounted a plane. He seemed not to be in his right mind, and that was the second one. It says 6 months before then, another person had carried his hand luggage and found his way to the wing of another plane. I was trying to get on the wing to be flown away. So obviously, the area is not secure as it should be. I think this says a lot about the management of FAN right now. People will be looking at you. If you have this thing happening consistently, you need to definitely look into your security and train the people that have other agencies that have to work in the airport.
So there was a quick interview of Olushola Owonikoko, is the president of the Carrington Fellowship Network. I liked what there's a quote that he said. It was an interview piece. He's a young man, and he mentioned that while a lot of our leaders are taking debts to fund salary structures without accurate, proper development. Most of these leaders are in their 70s and 80s, and that at the end of the day, in the next 10 years, they're probably retired if still alive. That it is the young people who are not allowed into leadership now that would have to find a way to pay the debts that Nigeria is getting into. A 30-year debt now will be paid for by Nigerian youths. And that is not like Nigerian youths should expect they will suddenly drastically take over the political position, but they must continue to push. It won't be drastic in 2023, but we must find a way to get our way in. That there are many competent Nigerians and young Nigerians that choose to go for elections should be voted for at every capacity so that we include them in the government.
Okay, let's move on quickly now to Daily Sun. Bloody day in Kaduna. Bandits kill 9, injure 5, steal 250 goats. Uzodinma warns Okorocha, vow to clear rot in Imo. FG Malami under fire over failure to designate bandits as terrorists. 3 teenagers in police nets for attempted ritual killing in Bayelsa. Afenifere, MBF, Pandep, others endorse Southeast for president. APC convention, governors, party leaders divided over February date, and president appoints Salami as economic advisor. Okay, which story?
Yeah, so in Imo State, the Imo State governor had, yesterday was in the papers, where he said he is going to name all the sponsors of, insecurity in his state. So, of course, we're all waiting. The state was waiting, and when he got there, he did not name them. He said because the moment he said it, it became politicized. People were talking about it on social media, and so he has decided to just allow investigations be carried out, and then let us not affect, but he went ahead to call out Okorocha, and I have to read what he says. He says Okorocha is out of office, but he still wants to be in charge. Other former governors have respected themselves since they left office. I won't allow him to be in control. Okorocha is my younger brother. I'm older than him. If not for anything, I deserve to be respected by him. I don't want to have issues with him, but he should know that he's no longer the governor. So, Mr. Okorocha, Mr. Uzodinma, please. Your Excellencies, but also we should be careful with our utterances. You don't go about saying you will name sponsors of insecurity. That's such a heavy statement.
And then you don't. Then you say you leave it to the security apparatus.
Why didn't you do
that? Was the highlight of the entire thing.
And then in the same voice, the same breath.
Let's speak another story.
Major headlines. A tiring story of killings, kidnappings happening as usual, but this time in Kaduna State. Actually, Igbagi and Zaria local government, 9 people were killed yesterday as bandits in those areas carried out the attack. Reports also included that 5 people were injured during the attack. They tried to rustle cattle and they stole 250 goats as well. In the reports, though, the military, in attacking them, were able to kill 2 of the bandits in crossfire, arrested a few, and there was a confession that there were a few other people that were arrested too, that were found to have been involved in it. They confessed to it. So I'm happy that as we're reporting this particular story, we reported the attack. We also are reporting at the same time the fact that the military were able to respond. And if we continue to see this, we might find to end to this
3 teenagers in Bayelsa were arrested. And thankfully by the youth first, who handed them over to the police. they had hypnotized, according to the report, a young lady and, took her to the room of one of them. I think I should even mention their names. So the three of them, Momotimi Bamisa is 15. Perebi Aweke, another 15. AK Prince, another 15. They are all natives of Sagbama community in Bayelsa. And they hypnotized this young lady for ritual purposes. By the time they were accosted by the community, they had already cut off all her fingers and sprinkled the blood on the mirrors. They were already carrying out the ritual. The community suspected the way they moved in, went in, beat them up. The community beat them up and arrested them, handed them over to the police. And the police has confirmed that the young lady is in the hospital now, receiving treatment, and that they would prosecute these three young men. I hope that they prosecute them for the least attempted murder.
I have the story of Pandef. So the Afenifere, Pandef, and the Middle Belt Forum have agreed to endorse Southeast to produce Nigeria's next president. According to them, there must be restructuring before 2023. However, all of them have agreed. They said this, that at the launch of the Power Shift movement and 40 million ballots movement in Awka, Anambra State, yesterday. And they're saying specifically that all of them are saying that every region should get a taste of the presidency. And after that, we can now begin to see how we can focus on other factors of bringing in a president. For now, all regions should, for equity, for the sake of equity. But first, we must restructure before 2023. That's the only way all sides would have a voice at the table. Moving on now to Vanguard. Magodo land tussle drama as police from Abuja defy someone's quit order. Malami's reasons not tenable. Oil price tops $80 per barrel as OPEC paints positive 2022 picture. Bandits attack 3 Kaduna local governments, kill 9 and injure 5. Again, no provision for West-East coastal rail in 2022 budget. Insecurity anticlimax as Imo governor fails to name sponsors. Buhari appoints Doyin Salami chief economic advisor. Okay, story. Anybody? We'll talk about
take back. Okay, I guess somebody read Vanguard.
The major headline.
We are keeping the major headline for hot topic.
That's a hot topic later. Nigerian Tribune. Okay, let's find a story we have not taken. Yeah. Who has Doyin Salami, chief security advisor? Nobody took that story.
I thought you had it more.
Okay, no, I didn't have that story. Gazette affirming bandits as terrorists out soon, says Malami. June 18, date stands for Ekiti governorship poll. How 42 children, pregnant women, 55 others regain freedom in Zamfara, says police. Yeah. 9 killed, 5 injured in fresh attacks in Kaduna. And short invitation to scuttle age-long tradition on Olubadan stew, Olubadan in council lawyers, right, Makinde.
Yes, a notorious bandit leader, Bello Turji, yesterday said he was said to have freed over 50 kidnapped victims in his custody in Zamfara State. This is said to be as a result of the military raids in the Zamfara and Sokoto forest. They said that he released them unconditionally, and amongst these free victims were 19 babies, several pregnant women, 16 minors. So that's good news, you know. Good news.
I wanted to take
that's good news that they have been released. So what they've also done is, once they are being released, they are taking for medical checks and also to evaluate them, because, I mean, when a bandit just releases people, we need to be careful that there's not a Trojan horse.
Yes. So, you know, we always celebrate stories of announcements of things that will happen. So in March 2021, the Minister for Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, announced that there's going to be a coastal rail between Lagos all the way to Calabar. Everybody celebrated. It was talking that Nigeria was at the verge of signing a loan agreement for the takeoff of this project. 4 months later, it disclosed that even the London-based Standard Chartered Bank has agreed to finance the project. However, when we now saw the budget for 2022, there is no such project included. I would appreciate if we focus, I know that there's a lot of work going on and sometimes it doesn't get approved, but let us only talk about things that we're already doing. Let's only celebrate things that have already been done. Enough of we are going to, and then...
Well, I think there's a process. You start by putting it in paper and then eventually now put in a budget. So they talk about that. So Nigerians, we need to learn to separate. So when they tell us that we don't start dancing, we're like, okay, you have done the first step. Let's see what you are doing next. Because we celebrate immediately
we
as well.
learned it from the white papers, remember?
Yes.
You do the committee.
You have to sit down.
We come with the communique. After the communique, we now the white paper to review what the communique said before we now begin implementation.
In the transport budget, there's a 45 million naira that's approved for the review of the 25-year rail strategic plan. So we're going to spend 45 million naira to review. Still in that space of white paper, white paper, white paper.
Okay, we have to run. Final paper, The Guardian. So I think we've taken also the major headline, barely 1 year to go, Buhari appoints economic advisor. And France alerts world to new COVID-19 variant IHU. I think I have that story. Let me see.
We've been wondering what the name they would call the new one.
Rishi. Let me even
tell. Interesting.
I don't even know if they give us what IHU
stands for.
Well, let me see if I have that. But you say it's a new coronavirus variant and emerged in France, although France is saying that there's a possibility it came from Cameroon.
They just have to find a way to...
already reported about 12 cases of this variant, which researchers believe contains 46 mutations, more than Omicron. And the new variant has been associated with Cameroon, as I said, but there's little sign that it's outmatching the Omicron variant, which now makes about 60% of cases in France. So they're still monitoring this closely. And I did confirm from my local government that the booster is ready.
Okay,
awesome.
yes, you said you were
I was going to call the guy yesterday and he said, go and take it. So I'm going there to my area to go and take it. By God's grace. This week, I must go and take a booster.
Why by God's grace?
I saw what you
guys
said.
By God's grace.
Okay. When Nigerians say by God's grace, it's usually that maybe not we're going to do it.
Yeah, it means that. Like, maybe not, but by God's grace, God will now push you to do
Yes, because that our time is controlled by God.
Please, we are religious in this country. By God's grace, we're going to break now.
All right.
Come back. We continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.